why black women are swiped on less?
Is racism. You know, we have to understand that we exist in a highly racist society. And a lot of people don't like to acknowledge it, don't like to talk about it, like to sweep it under the rug. But when it comes to dating, it shows up like
Yeah,
in this statistic that you're talking about.
yeah,
Now let's think about this. You're interested in a partner, and then and you've had no experiences with black people other than maybe watching some black people on television, and your parents and your community have said all kinds of crazy things about black people, and you have all types of negative belief structures around black people, and you're a man, you're say a white man, and you're presented with a black woman on a dating app. Are you going to swipe on this person? No, you're not, because you don't understand how incredible she is, how smart she is, how beautiful she is. Like you have no appreciation. So the reason why they're not swiping is their arrogance, right? It's their, I'm sorry, not their arrogance. The reason why they're not swiping is their ignorance.
hmm
That's what it is. And this is the reason why one of the most important things we can do is widen our social groups. This is the most important thing. I mean, it positively impacts our romantic relationships. It positively impacts our life. Is that we need to have a diverse set of people that we interact with and truly understand how beautiful people who are different than us.
So listen, I like his answer. I like the reasoning, and I went on a little rabbit hole trying to dig up more information about this, and they're referring to a study that was done, I think, in 2013. Surveyed, and I think the most desirable were white men, and for women, the most desirable women were Asian. And this is not like it's not a thing for black men to toot their own horn. We were next up in least desirability. So I think it's one of the things that he's saying. Yes, we have a predisposition to look at black women with a certain light, or look at black people with a certain light. That carries over to how our dating preferences actually turn up or show up in just raw data. What I think is, because sometimes when you're on these type of podcasts, or you're in these type of podcasts, like Diary Serial is closer to mainstream media than the rest of us down here. There's certain things you can't talk about, or you edge away from talking about because it becomes taboo, and you'll get canceled, or your product won't get pushed. And one of those real things is there is definitely a desirability issue here. And this is sometimes what we have to look upon ourselves as a community, and have a responsibility for our image. But before we continue to that, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Still doing 2 videos a day. If you suddenly just saw this video, then it's, yeah, your notification bell is probably not turned on, because we've been going strong since June. 2 videos a day, 2 shorts a day, or maybe more. Some days I pop out a little more. Uh, we're still trying to pay this rent. So again, what is missing here from this conversation? And I get it. You don't want to say certain things because it becomes part of the issue. Or it's the ugly side of it. There's an issue in terms of physical desirability. There's an issue in terms of how, through, if you want to look at it through the lens of racism, how our attitudes are perceived. When we have the angry black woman sort of stereotype hanging over us, or the black thug stereotype hanging over us, influencing your decisions, that's going to play a factor in who or what you swipe on dating apps. When we have, conversely, when you look at Asian women and there's a thought of them being quieter, more feminine, more demure, then that's how we're going to sort of roll in that direction. Now, the reason I did a little more research into this and looked into this is because it's one of those things that, while you can point at and say, this is not right, it's unfair, but there's no mechanism in here that's going to change it but us. There's just nothing. You can highlight it, you can try to legislate it, but you can try to build apps that have more of the algorithm shows more black people, or tries to even out the amount of people. But that doesn't stop when it comes down to who people are saying that they like or don't like. You have to factor in that there is a physicality thing. If someone's just not attracted to a certain race, fine. If someone's not attracted to a certain body style, fine. But when it comes down to how our image is used and perceived through other races, through other people, through other genders, that's the only thing we can do. And this is a multifaceted thing that's just not beneficial for us in terms of dating. If we had better control over our image, then a lot of the stereotypes, a lot of discrimination was sort of, I think over time, over generations, we can start kind of owning our own image. It's like the back in when they used to make Western movies, when that was the move, when they had stereotyped Asians for certain roles, and then the Asian community in large, so we're not going to take those roles anymore. Then you had yellow face, then you had white people dressed up with over you know overpronounced buck teeth, and had them affecting an Asian accent. Eventually, that died out. Asians just didn't take that role. They took control of how they were perceived, on the big screen. The problem now is we have almost a democratized sort of online issue. Anyone at any point in time can get online and lean on their race, their color, their stereotype attached to that, and do more harm or do more good to the collective image, or their efforts mean absolutely nothing. It's the trend with the young dudes going to quarter zips now, right? That's a thing that became immediately noticeable, just because it's an image thing. It goes against the grain. It goes against what was already known, what it expected, and it changes things in a positive light. That's one way we can control it. Another way is our behavior in which what we engage in outside, how we film that, how that gets put out there. I mean, we made it famous to call out World Star when something ridiculous is about to happen, or we're filming something ridiculous. Or you go to a Waffle House and you see certain behaviors, or expect certain behaviors. Or you fly Spirit, you fly Frontier. There is an expectation of Black people to behave a certain way. And while we can call it out and say it's not fair, it's not all of us, we find ourselves in the same situation, and we have to find a way of dealing with it, period. It doesn't matter, it's not fair. It doesn't matter that you didn't contribute to this. This is currently where we are. No amount of lamenting, no amount of complaining is going to change that. Again, like I said, this goes beyond just a dating thing. If you're going to secure a loan for your small business, and it's vital for you to get the startup capital, and you and someone else of a different race have the same idea, but off rip they're believed to be more trustworthy, what happens? You don't get that opportunity. It's not to say that these things make it impossible for you to succeed. You have evidence of Black people succeeding. I've been in spaces where, and then we've had some conversations in the comment section on other videos, where other Black men have said, yeah, there's experience being told, yeah, you're not like those other Blacks. You're well spoken. And my go-to response is that I'm not special in that regard. I can parade around uh, dozens, dozens of well-spoken Black people in under 30 minutes. I can get them here right now for you. This is a normal thing for us, but our image is different. That's it. Again, it doesn't matter if it's not fair. It's just one of those things that it's on us to make that change. And that type of change, that monumental intergenerational change, it's going to take time. It's going to take a concerted effort over a long period of time. Or we can keep sort of fighting over the scraps that we currently have to deal with. I, for one, I'm up for doing my part to make this small change wherever possible. I think that's all our intrinsic responsibility if we want better for everyone that looks like us. But if you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, that means I'm doing my job. Let me know what you think about those and those videos as well. And of course, if you listen to sound of my voice right now, you haven't subscribed, you are killing me. You will kill me. But join the train. We got to go pay this rent. I'll see you in the next one.